course.
And does that infuriate you a little bit?
Well, I don't really get so infuriated. I just kind of get aggravated that society is not more aware of the different types of autism on the spectrum, because people say, oh, I like Big Bang Theory, and then I tell them, well, Sheldon Cooper is autistic, and then they say, but he's not like Rain Man, and I have to explain to them, well, it's a broad spectrum.
So not only are you a Florida paralegal and certified in all kinds of personal training, but you're also single-handedly re-educating the world about these, these archetypes that they have in their minds. But I appreciate it because you're creating a better world. Let's talk a little bit, though, about you as a child and how you found fitness to be something that helped you.
Well, my father was in the military, so ever since I was old enough to stand on both legs, he just had me starting with soccer. I did racquetball, gymnastics. I did almost every sport imaginable, and I only saw him a couple days a year because he was in the military, and that was how we spent time together, as we bonded through fitness, and he just ingrained it in me. So throughout my life, every time I did exercise, even when he wasn't around, I just always felt like I was bonding with my father. And then when I met my co-founder of Apt Fitness, he was a manager of a gym in Miami, and he noticed that I would spend about 7 hours a day at the gym. And at the time, of course, I knew I was autistic, but I didn't exactly understand why I felt so much better. But the doctors explained to me that it was allaying the stimming, and that it was acting as sort of a medication, which, I think is great, because medications are a lot overprescribed, and they also are very costly, so some of them are not accepted by the insurance company. And that's why exercise is so important to me, because it helps me not only cope, but it helps allay the stimming symptoms.
You say that exercise uses the same motor functions involved with ASD and ADHD, giving the functions another outlet, right?
Yes, because it basically exhausts the motor functions, so then you're no longer stimming. It's kind of like when people take Adderall or Xanax or something, it kind of calms you down, and that's what the exercise is doing, essentially.
I think this is so important for our parents to hear. I also think, Angeline, it's so important for the parents of young girls on the spectrum to hear this, because we don't get to see enough adults, period, on the spectrum having the opportunity to have a platform to talk about this, but especially young women. So I want to thank you for taking the time to do this. But then let's talk about, you went from being somebody who found that exercise helped you. How did you get to the point where you thought, okay, if this helps me, then certainly maybe it would help my community. Let me get to be a specialist in that. What happened to make you realize that?
Well, over the years, I've been working in the legal field, and it's just very discriminating towards people on the spectrum. Even if they do know that you're on the spectrum, they're not willing to work with you. Like, I've been ostracized for not smiling at my coworkers, not laughing at their jokes, even when their jokes are not funny, for giving fake laughs and fake smiles and things like that. And so I just kept finding myself more and more involved with different exercises to sort of cope and, to help with the stimming and stuff like that. And I decided, well, I spend so much time in the gym and so much time exercising, why not use that to show other people?
And what type of exercise tends to be best for those on the spectrum? Is there one type, or do you promote all types of exercise?
Well, that really depends. People ask me that all the time, but it's just like anyone else, because if you need core strengthening, whether or not you're autistic, but you have a hiatal hernia, you can't do a lot of those exercises. So it's something that you really have to talk to them about your health issues and, flexibility and things like that, because it's not a one size fits all.
Right. And are there a lot of trainers out there working with those in the autistic community?
I know about 2 years ago when I researched it, there were only 2 that I found in the entire country that were marketing themselves as autistic personal trainers, but they're not themselves autistic. They just provide the services for the autism. And one of those people actually started his own, I think it's called Autism or Autistic Fitness. It's Eric Chesson, and he does have certifications for anyone that is in personal training that wants to be certified specifically for autism.
Well, since there's so few of them, how can someone find out if they have experience with autism, who should they go to?
Well, for me, I'm registered with Autism Speaks in some of the local organizations, so it's just a lot of networking and things like that. I also spend a lot of time networking with mental health providers so that if they have someone that they think can benefit from my services, I can always offer it to their clients. And the reason that we're nonprofit is because people spend so much money on medications and different modalities, some of them that never work. So I want to bring exercise and make it affordable to people who would not ordinarily think that they can afford it.
Wonderful. And so you're in Central Florida, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, so how wide of, I'm geographically not with it, but how wide of an area, like, do you service so that if families are in that area, they'll know, oh, okay, I can get a hold of her and participate?
Well, right now I'm offering services at homes, offices, parks, things like that. So I go to their location, and right now it's just in Seminole and Orange counties, Florida, which is basically from Sanford all the way to almost Disney World.
Wonderful.
Okay. And let's talk about how people can reach you. How do they find you?
They can find me on the internet at www.aptfitness.org, and you have to use the www in the beginning, or they can also email apt@apt-fitness.com. I'm quicker with the emails. Phones, they can reach me at 407-900-1610. I also have a calendar on my website of the different things I'm going to be at and the different educational seminars where I'll be speaking.
I would love it if you would take just a minute. You have some very wise words about adaptation, and I would love if you would share your thoughts on that with us.
Well, a lot of people are ashamed of being diagnosed with autism. I get a lot of parents that say that their kids are ashamed of it. They're either in high school or I get adults that come to me and they don't want to come out, so to speak. And I try to explain to them that they don't have to necessarily disclose that they're autistic, but at the same time, they can't have expectations that people are going to want to accommodate them. You know, if you see someone in a wheelchair, you know that that person needs some sort of accommodation, but you can't look at someone and say, oh, they're autistic, so let me know how to accommodate them. And I mean, it's just, I'm not saying that we should, become different people, but there should be some sort of level of adaptation. It's just like Charles Darwin, for us to survive, just like any species, there is some form of adaptation. We can maintain our true identities while blending into society. And then also Irving Goffman had this sociological theory, dramaturgy. It's how we choose how we want people to react around us. If we learn to blend with society, then the more willing society is to accept us rather than fear us and think, oh, we're abominations, or, we're something that they just have very negative perceptions of us. So if more of us actually stood out and said, you know what, I'm autistic and I'm doing this and I'm doing that, then less people would think that, they would more likely retract that negative stigma.
Right.
I think you're an inspiration to a lot of folks, Angelina, and especially to the young girls in our community and their parents, because we need more role models like you.
Thank you.
And so Apt Fitness, and if you're in Central Florida, and what a great way to add something to your child's life that helps them on many different levels. As you've said, this can help with ADHD, depression, anxiety, and other cognitive and neurological conditions, but additionally it can help with some of the different things that come along with autism. Again, the website, is it apt? No, that's the email. What's the website, Angelina?
It's www.aptfitness.org. And also my services are for families too. So it's not necessarily just for the person with a diagnosis of autism. It's also for the families. Because, some parents and siblings understand that sometimes it's a little bit difficult to interact with their family members. So I show them some group exercises and things they can do to have positive communications and positive interactions with each other as well.
Do you think you're ever going to do like a line of videos or something? Because I got to tell you, you're exactly what I need right now, honestly. And I wish you were in Southern California, because I would be like, can I have an appointment tomorrow? But maybe You know what I want right now, and I've been looking for, and I can't find it. People sell workout DVDs, and I don't know how to put a DVD into our TV system anymore. I don't even know how to do that because I'd have to open up the Xbox, and I don't know how to do that. I'm waiting for somebody to put things that you can stream on your computer or your phone or onto your smart TV that I can subscribe to. So, Angelina, I'm just going to throw that out to you. If you get around to making a couple of, don't make a DVD, but stream it for us and I'll subscribe. How's that?
Okay. Yeah, I'm actually working on more videos for the YouTube channel, and we do offer online personal training, but the online options are more for people that are more disciplined, that don't need to, that are self-motivated.
Well, that's not going to work.
So you're
for
on
me.
YouTube? Are you on YouTube then?
Yes, but I don't have a whole lot of videos up
Okay.
yet. But I am working on it. That's one of my goals this year, is to get everything up and running. Right now, I'm just focusing on networking with mental health providers. I also have massage therapists, attorneys, different people that can offer services to people with autism.
That's great. You're a nonprofit, correct?
Correct. Yes.
Okay, very good.
Wonderful.
All right,
Thank you
thanks
so much for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Bye-bye.
Good luck.
Bye.
Yeah, I wish she was in Southern California. But I'm gonna look up her YouTube channel. All right, we're gonna take a break, and then we have our third and final guest who's gonna be joining us here in the studio. Stephen Wood is gonna be with us. He is a special needs trust lawyer.
Yes, which a lot of people glaze over
I said earlier, I said that's when we all go, I don't want to talk about that.
I don't want to talk about this, right? But it's a necessity to talk about. Very important.
It is a necessity. We're going to do it in a little bit so that we don't make me or anybody else be paralyzed, and we'll try to make it as fun as possible.
That's right.
I always want to promise ice cream after we talk about these things, but we'll try to come up with some reinforcer for you.
So we'll be back with Stephen Wood.
All right, stick with us.